Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I'll do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pay stub or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh, fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Same us for the way up, play the game, bruh.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
Welcome everyone to the show. I am your host, Don Vic. What's up? What's up? You already know the vibes. We're in the building. This is the place where you find new talent, new faces, and upcoming stars all the time here live on the show. And I want to thank everybody that tunes in from Facebook to YouTube to support me and show my guests some love. Ooh, boy, a lot of things happening this year, and I am totally blessed to be a part of this great journey that I'm having. I'm meeting fantastic people from around the world, and tonight we're going to be talking to one that I actually met around the world. Okay. She is an author, a vocalist, and she has written an interesting book called 35 and 53, which I'm very interested to know what is that book all about. But I'm going to let her tell you the story. Okay. So please welcome my good friend, Rhonda Stansbery, to this show. Rhonda.
How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
I am blessed and highly favored.
Yes. I want to thank you for coming on the show. I know you're a busy woman.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. So, this is the second time seeing you again after the event,
the luxury gala where we met. Yes.
You know, I am, you know, like I was saying earlier before the show, I am just blessed to have chosen this path, not because of what I do, but because of the people I meet. You know,
Absolutely.
I'm a people's people,
Me
and
too.
you'd be amazed at the people that you meet around the world, and you become good friends. And I'm glad I went to the gala because I met you.
Absolutely, I met you.
That's right, and that's the amazing part of what we do, right?
Absolutely.
So tell the people your name and where you come from.
My name is Rhonda Baker Stansbery, and I live here in Jacksonville, Florida, sunny Florida, Sunshine State.
Oh, geez, I'm jealous. Don't say that again. You see, I got my turtleneck on, right? Because it's a little breezy out here.
No, you can't do a turtleneck today in Jacksonville.
Right. So you are an author. You're a book writer.
I'm an author, correct.
And a vocalist as well.
I am.
What else do you do besides being a vocalist and an author? What else is that you do?
I work at a credit union during the day. I have an undergraduate degree in business administration, and I have always been in the area of community development. And we can get into a little bit about the community development and how I feel like the lottery itself could help. So that's what I do during the day. I work at Toyota, their credit union. It's actually called JM Families and Associates Federal Credit Union. So I am blessed to work with a lot of wonderful people there at the credit union. So, and learning a lot, you know, every day is a learning tool.
Right. So before we get into you know, your book and some of your history on what Bolitas is, which is a great backdrop, and a lot of people might not know what that means or stands for, but we're going to get into that, so you can tell us about that as well. But what actually brought you out to the awards that night?
What brought me out was the beautiful, the lovely Crystal Snow.
Hey.
Crystal and I became friends through a mutual friend,
Okay.
and she invited me to the gala. And I mean, it was amazing. I mean, you were there. You saw it was an amazing
It was
event. And I felt so blessed and honored to even be invited.
right.
And there I met a lot of famous, fabulous people.
Right. It was a very upgrade event.
Oh, it was awesome.
That
The
was very
Oscars, I mean, how many people can say they went to the Oscars?
a you and me. It's good to have friends like that. That
Absolutely.
trust you and believe in you, believe in your dream, and ask you to come out to certain events like that. Not a lot of people can go to those events and get invited.
Exactly.
'Cause
Invited.
I was invited by Bev, and Bev,
Dev Moore,
and
yeah,
she was
another
like,
beautiful soul.
yes, and she was thinking, so for her to reach out to me personally, she said, I'm going through my page, and I'm just hitting certain people that I will want to come to this event. So not everybody that she knew
Got an invite.
got an invite. So for her to invite me from the other side of the world to come there was an honor. And she is phenomenal as a person.
And she is.
Yes, she
She
is.
is. And
She
she
is
and I are in constant contact as well.
awesome. Awesome. See, that's the beauty of it. And that experience, to be on the red carpet, being interviewed on the red carpet, um, even though it made me blind for like a day because all the cameras was sir, look, and I had my glasses on, so my eyes inside were closed. I had the Vietnamese lady, she had my arm from the back, and she would like push me when it was time to walk. So
Oh yeah.
I was like this. They was, hey, all I heard was, look over here, and I look and look over here, and I was
It
determined that.
was. And I had the mic. Stevens gave me the mic and he said, sing. And I was like, okay, satin
Yes,
down. And I just,
I see that. I
put
saw
it
that.
out.
Yeah. So just being on there with like you said, the celebrities and stars that were there from not just LA but from other countries.
From everywhere. I mean, it was
Yes.
amazing.
hmm That was great. So that's good. So you got the invite by Crystal Snow.
Crystal Snow,
She was an award
the
winner that night.
she was an award winner.
Yes.
Film producer, Angel Dust is her show.
Right. Right. So that's great. So now let's talk about a little bit before you got into the book writing. How was your you coming up in Nashville? How was your
Well, growing up in Jacksonville, I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, educated in Jacksonville, Florida.
okay,
I actually, my parents divorced when I was 12.
okay.
So I lived with my father and between my father's and my grandmother's house.
hmm
And my mother was an excellent person,
mm,
just she was who she was.
Right.
And I respect her for that. But I know she loved me in her own very, very special way.
Yes, yes.
I never knock her. And she was a smart, intelligent, educated lady, beautiful lady. Um, but growing up there, and your daddy is a quote unquote numbers runner,
Mhm,
Bolita King,
mhm.
it gave me a lot of advantages that some people did not get, a lot of people did not get. So
Right.
my father's was very, very big on education, because he did not get a college degree. He didn't finish college, and he wanted me to get a college degree.
Mm,
Do anything you want to do, but Rhonda, get that piece of paper because
mm.
no one can take it from you.
That's right. That's great. So getting to the point where you're at today, I believe you had to go through some dark places and some up and downs.
I
Um,
have. I
so
have
so
had my own
yeah,
trials and tribulations.
right,
As
right.
if you live in this world, you will have a problem.
Yes, yes. So what have you learned from the past? And that you can take and say, you know what, I'm gonna take this and make it work for me now.
Well, first of all, let me say this. When I fell in love with Jesus,
Amen.
my life changed
Amen to
totally.
that.
You
Amen.
know, um, the book emerged because I was terminated from my job
Right.
for no reason.
Mm,
And if anybody knows Rhonda, they know that she's a fighter.
mm.
And I fought and I won. Um, I was fired not once, but twice
Oh
from
wow.
jobs, back to back. And
Mm,
I'm like, looking like, oh my God, what's going on? And that's when I say God's trying to tell me something,
mm,
and writing my book, there were a multitude of people that were extremely instrumental in helping me through the process. But if I did not publicly acknowledge my daughter, my baby,
mm,
Tony Dion, she was right there when I was writing. My cousin Estelle, also known as Najma Shabazz, she was right there. Because my father and her were first cousins,
mm,
and she was like a mother to me. And
mm.
she just pushed and pushed and pushed. And see, she also knew the numbers game herself.
Okay. Yeah.
So I would go to her. This book was one of the hardest things that I have ever done in my
Mm,
life, was to travel back in time,
mm.
because traveling back in time and remembering certain things that happened to make you to help you to write this book. Some of the things were very hurtful, things
Yeah.
that the people did to my father for no reason.
Right.
You
Right.
know, I remember one segment that I was writing, and I began to cry, and I began to cry. And it wasn't long before I was laying in the floor screaming. And my baby, my daughter, she just ran downstairs and she got me up off the floor and she took me and she put me in the bed,
Mm,
because it was an emotional moment. I
right.
could feel that day and time as if it was happening all over again. And that segment of the book, I was writing about my dad, one of the cases, and my dad just said he couldn't believe someone would do something like that to him, so heinous. And he was crying and he just kept crying. He said, "Why would somebody do this to me? Why?" He was crying. I'm crying. My grandmother's crying. And I felt that moment. I went back to that period in like 1969, and I relived it. And that was really hard.
Mm, yeah. I was born in '69, by the way. Um, yeah. That's like a special year. Uh,
Okay.
so knowing and growing through these situations, you watched.
I
Um,
watched.
and at what point did you say, okay, I need to write about this?
I had always contemplated writing about my father and my daddy, because I call him my daddy,
Okay.
in his life. And then one day I said, I'm going to do this. It was March 28th at
Mm,
6:30 a.m. I sat to the table and I started writing, but I did not realize what day it was, what the day of the month was,
mm,
until later. And I looked over and it was March 28th. I said, "Oh my goodness, this is my daddy's birthday."
mm,
That was ordained for me to start writing on that particular day.
mm. So
I s-
why? I'm sorry. Why is it so important for you to write this book? What is exactly the message that you want to portray, to 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 put out in
I
this book?
wanted to put his story out.
Okay.
I wanted to tell his truth. And
Hmm.
I was telling it from the eyes of a little girl.
Okay.
I watched my father go through so much, my daddy go through so much, and still held it together. And I just, sometimes I say, I wonder how, but I know how, because he had faith.
Mm, amen to that. You know, faith is it's a
It, it's something. If it's the size of a mustard seed, if you've got faith. And he had faith.
Right. Wow.
And it
So,
didn't hurt that he had one of the best, if not the best lawyer. He had the same lawyer that represented Martin Luther King. He
mm,
had the great Earl Johnson
Earl
Sr.
Johnson. Okay, big shout out to Earl Johnson. Senior, right?
Oh, he was awesome. He fought every case for my father and won.
Right. So let's talk about bolita. What exactly is bolita? Because you have the
Bolita,
backdrop.
bolita is Spanish, as you know, and it
Mhm.
means little ball.
Right.
So there are several games that are played, but people say, okay, he's running bolita, he's a numbers runner.
Right.
All of this is the same thing. It's just multiple games, just like it is in the lottery today. There are multiple games. There was a night house, there was a Cuba, there was a total. And all of these games are played every week. Every day of the week, something different was played. And my father had a staff of people that actually worked for him.
Mm,
They were numbers runners.
mm.
So let me tell you a little bit about how I came up with the title of the book.
Okay. Okay.
The book is entitled Numbers 35 and 53, The Case of the Brown Paper Bag. Well, if you are a numbers runner, a Bolita King, you usually have a number that you play, a number that you favor as your favorite number. But you also flip that number. So his favorite number was 35.
Mm,
He flipped it 53. So every time he played 35, he would play 53. So I named the book Numbers 35 and 53.
mm,
But where the case of the brown paper bag comes in is that people used to say that the brown paper bag was the hallmark of the numbers game. Every man walking back and forth to and fro carrying a small brown paper bag was a numbers runner.
right.
So Earl Johnson, in one of his defenses, used that term. So every man that's walking around with the brown paper bag is a numbers runner.
Mm,
So that's where the title came in, Numbers 35 and 53, The Case of the Brown Paper Bag.
wow. But so when your father was running these numbers, he was doing pretty well for himself. Uh,
He was doing extremely well, but that was not his goal, was to be a numbers runner. He sort of fell into that. My father was headed to the major leagues. He had
mm,
gotten drafted from the Negro Leagues. He played for the Kansas City Monarchs. He had
mm,
gotten drafted to the Pittsburgh Pirates. And you go through the training camp and everything else that they do. And at the end of the training camp, because he was a catcher, that was a position that he played. And they always used to call him Roy Campanella. Roy Campanella. This guy plays like Roy Campanella.
mhm,
So when he got to the end of the training camp, the doctor would not release him to play because he had vitiligo. And if you know anything about vitiligo, it's where you actually have no pigmentation or small amount of pigmentation in your skin. Um, I go on multiple talks about having vitiligo, and people don't understand that vitiligo is an autoimmune deficiency. It is a lack of vitamin D.
mm,
So that stopped him from being able to play in the major leagues. So now what do? You didn't finish college. The minimum wage in 1960 was $1.10 an hour.
mm,
What would you do with that? So he was invited by a high school classmate to join forces with him in running numbers.
mm. And that's how he got into it.
And that's how he got into running numbers. My father was a mama's boy,
Okay.
and he made no moves unless he went to his mom and my grandmother, and he talked to her about it, and she said, well, Frank, if that's what you've got to do, that's what you've got to do.
Right.
And that's what he did.
Well, and became good at
Oh, he
it.
was excellent at it.
Right.
but it caused him a lot of problems, trials,
Right,
tribulations,
right.
multiple federal cases
Wow.
for the same thing that people are doing right now, going to the convenience store and buying a roll of lottery tickets.
Yeah. Same thing, just different scenario in my eyes.
Well, it's legal now. It became
Yeah.
legal in Florida in 1986.
Mm-hmm. Wow. You know, I remember that because, my father used to do the same. I was a young boy. I didn't know what it was, but I knew what they were doing. And,
You knew it was different.
right, it was different. And we always like, why do we, every time we doing this, we're like in the basement or something, you
Away
know,
from the crowd.
away from the crowd, and certain people were at the table all the time. So,
And
I said, something's happening. I just don't know what it is. But I used
so
to run with my pops. I was a, his right hand man. Everywhere my father went, I went there. So people started to know me, and as a young boy, and then when I got about 12, that I already knew what was
you
going on.
started to really understand what was going
Understand it,
on.
yeah. And I was like, okay, this is what we're doing. But it was so peaceful, quiet. The owner used to
It
have
was
a.
a business.
It was a
It was
business,
a
yeah.
business for my father.
Yes, my father too, and he did well. He did pretty good. We out of that, he got himself some houses, and he got his business going. He got himself right, and then he decided to stop, and we just kept working on the business side of things. But it's it was a way of living then for
It
us.
was a way.
Mhm.
One of the things that I don't like, people always thought it was a black thing or Hispanic thing, and
Mhm.
it was not. It was
Right.
a thing, and
Yeah.
multiple people in this city were running numbers.
Yes.
You had people that were what you call the layoff man. I
Mhm.
mean, and I grew up with their children, and people don't like to talk about it. And I'm like, yeah, you got your college degree off of the same type of money I got mine off of. So why
Right.
not talk about it?
Right. Right. So, of the book you wrote, what is what section of the book it's more important to you? You feel like it's more uh in touch with you on the book that you wrote.
I think that I can relate when, like, as I told you, I was fired twice back to
Right.
back over a lie. And a
Wow.
lie like to cost my father his freedom. The lie that the person told on me could have possibly made me come up against federal charges.
Mm,
Unfortunately, nobody believed her, but I could have had some major issues.
right. But that wasn't part of your life story.
That
So
wasn't a part of my life. I mean, I
right,
just, you live and you learn, and I found out that everybody that smiles in your face isn't your friend.
right. So that's one of the things you learned about, watching your
Oh,
father.
my sister, we call her Pebbles.
Okay.
She said, "Hey, I keep my head on a swivel. I'm
Oh,
always watching."
that's right. That's right.
you know, and
Yeah.
I listen to people. I call myself. I say I am a student of human nature. I
Mm,
am always watching what's going on
you have
because I
to.
want to know.
Yes.
You know,
You're like me. I walk into a room and my eyes start scanning the whole room.
and the entire room
Everything
I'm
before I
watching.
even start walking 10 feet deep into the room.
Before
Uh,
I sit down, I know everything that's going on.
yeah, yeah. And that's a good thing. I think that's a very good thing to do. Um, because if there's anything that's not right, you're gonna pick up on it right away. And
Exactly.
while everybody's sleeping, you're thinking about plan B. Okay, if this is gonna go,
Exactly.
this
And
is
that's
what
what,
I'm gonna do.
as a musician, as an author, we don't get a lot of sleep because we're
Right,
always looking to see what we improve on what it is we're doing.
right, right. So tell me about the singing part. Where did that come into play?
That came into play. My father loved music. Daddy loved music. It played all day, every day. If Nancy Wilson had a new album coming out on Tuesday, by 12 noon he had purchased it. And I would sing along, and I think he saw something in me.
Mm,
And when I was 9 years old, he took me to Boaz Studios and introduced me to Eleanor Boaz. Eleanor Boaz became my private vocal coach for 9 years.
mm,
Um, my father said, I'll let her touch any instrument, everything. I play violin, viola,
mm.
piano, guitar, but singing was what I loved to do the most.
Right. Hey, singing is therapy for me.
But I laugh. I said we would go out and I'd have a lesson every Tuesday.
Mhm.
And my father, for many, many years, picked the songs he wanted me to sing. Daddy would pick, nope, I want you to sing this. I want you to sing Satin Doll. I want you to sing Earl Garner's Misty. And, we would go to war sometimes. No, I don't want to sing that. But he wanted me to get a good foundation
Right.
and listen to it. So then it came a point where, okay, they give me a piece of music that I'd never heard before. And then I'm sight reading, at 10 years old, I'm trying to, okay, I never,
Understand it.
but I would do it because that's what daddy said, do.
Right. Right. Wow. This is that's a great story. I like it. I like that. So your books are now playing. Is it what sites are they on? Your books? Is it on
My book
Amazon?
is on Amazon, but one of the things about you put your book on Amazon and everybody else from Thrifty Books, Barnes and Nobles, everybody can order a copy of Numbers 35 and 53, The Case of the Brown Paper Bag. Um, and I have to tell you a little bit about when they see the cover. Um, I'm going to hold the book up for just a second.
Yeah, get it a little closer to your camera. No, up a little. Yeah. Okay. That's your father. Huh? Oh,
That's
that's
my
you.
father.
Okay.
What the artist did was tell you a little story about this. I was doing case managements for veteran services programs, and I ran into a veteran that was so talented, and his name is Gerald Lilliard. And I told him, I said, let me take you to dinner. I need you to do something for me. And so he and I went to dinner, and I explained my book, my thoughts, and we left dinner. I came home within an hour. He sent me 3 designs within an hour.
Wow.
And he sent me the picture that the cover. And I mean, he nailed it.
Wow.
He nailed it. He took my father and put him in a brown paper bag.
That's so dope. I was like, what?
He
I
put
said that's
all of the
so dope.
money around him, all the burrito balls, a baseball, and he put a picture of him when he first started to have a problem with vitiligo at 12 years old.
Mm,
So if nothing else, you walk by the cover of the book and it's an eye catcher.
yeah. Yeah, it
So
definitely is. Definitely is. I gotcha.
you got to say, what's this book about?
Right.
And people, they were running numbers everywhere.
Right. Right. So, so in the point of your father running these numbers, he got into some problems with the system.
He got
Uh,
into some serious problems with the system. When he started first working with Clarence Hall and Eloise Adams, um, they were arrested. They were arrested, not my dad. So what they did was the attorney called him as a witness against Clarence Hall and Eloise Adams. Well, you know how we do. The first thing somebody says is, "Do you know Vic?" No, I
yeah.
don't.
Right.
and
Woo.
never seen him before in my life. And that was kind of his story, you know.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, his attorney, Earl Johnson, said, now, you know what's next, Frank?
Mm,
He says they're going to try perjury. They're going to try to say you perjured yourself by lying. And
mm,
of course, they did. And he caught a charge of perjury.
mm.
Um, One of the things that happened is Clarence and Eloise's case went on for so long, back and forth, back and forth. It was years. But
Wow.
they did beat their case. Okay. Then my dad caught the case of perjury, and that started to take a toll on him. I mean, he started to really just like, why? What is going on?
Right.
But he didn't stop running numbers.
Right.
And
Oh, they can't stop the hustle. That's in our blood.
one thing you're not going to
Oh,
stop is
it's a hustle.
he kept it moving. But
Right.
the interesting thing about it was when Earl Johnson said, okay, so you think every man walking the street, every black man walking from tavern to tavern
It's police.
is running numbers just because he's caught, carrying a brown paper bag? And his case and what he said was so awesome until when the jury went out to deliberate, the judge suggested entrapment. I have a
Oh wow.
newspaper article where it says judge suggests entrapment. Then it says jury clears man of perjury.
Oh man.
So the judge basically said, don't come back with a guilty verdict. You can see that was entrapment. So that was the case. So he's done with that one. He's done with the one prior with Eloise and Clarence.
Right.
He's done with the case of perjury. It was not 6 months later he caught a drug charge.
Oh, they were out for him, huh?
They were out for him.
Yes.
My daddy was, you know, we're a lot different. I am extremely laid back and I'm not flashy. And that was just
Right.
him. He loved nice things. He
Right.
liked the best of everything.
Yeah.
So he went one day he went and he said, he went to his father and he said, you want a Cadillac? Why don't you buy a Cadillac? And he gave his dad money to buy a Cadillac. A few months later, he said, I want a Corvette. He went and bought a Corvette.
Mm.
He kept it 90 days. He said, it's a lemon off of the showroom floor. So he ordered another one. This is how he rolled. I mean, he just said, mm-mm.
Yeah.
So then he said, no, I don't want it. He went over to the Mercedes dealership and he bought a 1968 brand new
Ooh.
Mercedes off of the showroom floor.
Mm.
They told him he was the first black man to ever have bought a Mercedes in Jacksonville.
Oh wow.
And that is when trouble surrounded him. Because when you're a numbers runner, you're out different times of the day. Yeah. And most of my father's business transactions were done probably after 5 or 6 o'clock. He left a particular bar on Moncrief, and a gentleman that he knew, they called him Doodad. His name was Oliver Kinsey. He was a small time drug dealer, and he said, "Hey Frank, give me a ride. Can you give me a ride?" And my father said, "Oh, okay." And Vic, excuse the language, but my dad said, "Okay, man, you don't have none of that shit on you, do you?" And he said, "No, no, no." So they gets in the car, 2 blocks down the road, FBI police surround the car. We want to search the car for drugs.
Oh,
Daddy said he got out and he's like helping them. And they said, "Oh man, yeah, now we got you. This is heroin." And my dad's looking at them like, "Are you crazy?" And he caught that charge. 25 months. they took my father's 280 SL Mercedes and put it in storage
Oh wow, they wanted the
until the case.
car.
They wanted the car. They wanted him, and they
Yeah,
wanted the
the car.
car. So what Dad did was he continued to make the payments on it because he traded the Corvette in on it on the
On the pad.
Mercedes.
Okay.
And I remember as a child going down with him to the storage where they held the car, and him washing it and wiping it down and cleaning it up
Right.
and keeping it, cranking it and everything.
Right.
25 months they held that car.
Oh
It was
wow.
the strangest thing though, because I like I said, I did a lot of research and I talked to a lot of lawyers, federal judges, and the federal judge that was overseeing my father's case was not a judge from Florida. He was a judge from Pennsylvania.
Oh, from
So
Philly.
I went to a judge here and I said, "Hey, you got to talk to me. I'm not understanding why all of the judges that are sitting here in Florida, in Jacksonville, which is the middle district, why did they go to what we call the southern district and
Mm,
bring an attorney in, excuse me, a judge in
judging.
to preside over my daddy's case?"
Right.
So this particular judge, who he and I attended church together at that time, he said, "Rhonda, a federal judge can go anywhere." Then I understood he was brought in by other people to oversee that case.
Right.
That case was over. My father got the call. They released his car to him. He went down, took the paperwork, and drove that car away from Julia and Adams Street,
Oh, they were
where they were
mad.
holding. They were mad.
They were mad.
They couldn't get him, but there were higher powers than them that
Yes,
kept him safe.
that's right.
So that was kind of, I think that weighed on him so much. And my father, I think I told you he died at 47 years of age.
Young man, young man.
But one of the things that my daddy did, and it still is, it's not unbelievable. It's because of the person that he was. And I'm hoping to be that person or get almost halfway there. He and I were sitting, I was sitting in the car, and he had gotten his car back and everything, and he was coming out of a convenience store, and a gentleman said, "Hey Frank, how you doing?" And my daddy said, "Good, man, how you doing?" And he kept walking. And so I said, "Daddy," for some reason I said, Daddy, who is that?" He said, "That's Doodad." And I'm like, "Excuse me?" He said, "That's Doodad." I said, "Is that the guy that put the drugs in your car?"
Hmm.
And he said, "Yes, sugar, it is." He actually spoke to him and kept moving. And
Mm,
I'm saying, "Oh my goodness, I don't know if I could do that now,
right.
because you almost put me not in jail, but in prison."
Yeah.
And that was just the type of person that he was.
He had a great heart.
He had a great heart.
Mm. He forgave him for that.
He forgave him. And I'm still
Yeah.
mad at him.
Yeah. I get it. I
Because
understand.
my father's freedom was the most important thing to him.
Mm,
He would like to just, "Hey, I'm getting on a plane. I'm going to New York. I'm going to the fights. I'm going to the basketball game." And that's what he did, and he did not want anybody to take his freedom from him.
right. Which this man almost did, and he still spoke to him.
And he still spoke.
Wow.
But I it's funny because one day there was an altercation in the shoe shine shop. One thing, Doodad was on in his territory, and he came into the shoe shine shop, and this was before the case was even had been tried. And he looked at Doodad and he said, "Hey man, when are you going to go down there and tell them that wasn't
Uh,
my dope?" And Doodad said, "I'm not."
oh,
And they told me, because I'd written about it in the book,
right.
but they told me chaos went on in that shoe shop.
Mm,
So after writing the book and having the book published, I was talking with someone and they knew the story too well. And I
mm,
looked at the gentleman and I said, because he was only a couple of years older than me.
right.
And I said, wait a minute, you have told that story better than what I wrote in the book. The only way that you could have done that is you were there. And he
Yes.
said, yes, I was. He said, Rhonda, all he said, Rhonda,
All hell broke
all
loose.
hell broke out in that shoe shop. He said,
Oh
Mr.
boy.
Frank was choking him, beating him. He said the guy broke away and ran and picked up a soda crate. And you remember back when we were
Yeah.
children, soda crates were
The square joints
the square ones, but they were wooden.
wooden. Yeah.
And said my daddy was just enraged, he snatched the crate from him and beat him with it,
Oh boy.
you know. And he said it took so many of them to pull him off. I said, yeah, I can understand that because his freedom was so important to him,
Yeah.
but I love my daddy. Cherished my daddy.
Mm.
But what writing the book did for me, it cleansed me because I did not know I was still carrying around so much.
Oh wow. Right. So what's your goal now?
My goal now is we're working on a movie. So if we have people that would like to help us fund this movie, because I did write the script, my
Mm,
daughter, Tony Dion, my cousin, Ahmad Evans, David Wooderman, and myself, we wrote the script.
mm,
And it's called Numbers 35 and 53. Um, we are working with producers, but when you're working on a movie, you need money, you need investors. So I am
mm,
definitely looking for investors.
mm. Definitely. Yeah. That's always been the problem for every writer or directors, the funding. That's always been an issue. But it's possible,
And
you know.
oh, it's gonna happen,
Yeah, it's
definitely.
gonna happen. It's all a matter of time, right?
Yeah, all a
Um,
matter of it's timing. It's
timing
timing.
and having a great team
And I do.
together.
I'm working with some of the best in the industry.
Right.
So I know it's gonna come to fruition.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it come to life. Um, because just by you telling the story, I can picture it in my mind. The things that I can picture myself being your father with the running, the heart beating of taking, of looking at his eye vision were eyes of a hawk. He had to make sure everything, so
But
he was moving a certain way.
and he
You know,
was such a giver. My
yeah,
cousin and I talked about that. She said Frank gave away so much money, Rhonda. See where he grew up in East Jacksonville. And East Jacksonville was a community where people looked out for each other. They actually did not have to leave their community because everything was there, grocery stores, shoe
right.
shops, everything was there. And it was an extremely close knit community. You
Mhm.
just didn't come in East Jacksonville, just
Yeah,
thinking that you were going to do what you wanted to do because
right,
they would run you out.
right. Mm. It was a tight
It was
community,
a
huh?
tight community. Everybody knew who was doing what. And, young boys looked up to Frank Baker. Oh, I want to be like Frank Baker when I grow up.
Mhm. Yeah,
People
yeah,
would ask me even now, they say, what was it like? I said, it was tough being Frank Baker's daughter because my father was a perfectionist.
right.
You know,
Okay.
he wanted
Yeah.
it done right.
Hmm.
I tell the story. I said, I was told to wash the dishes. I washed them and I put them in the drainer to drain,
To drain.
and I didn't put them up. My daddy waited till about 2 o'clock in the morning.
To wake you up, talking about
He
you gotta.
woke me up and he said, I thought I told you to wash the dishes. I said, I did. He said, but you didn't put them up, nor did you sweep and mop the kitchen and wipe off all the appliances.
Right.
And that was every day. And I was like,
Mm.
well, when it was my turn, and I was like, "Ooh," but see, Rhonda's a quick study. You don't have to tell me something but once.
That's right,
You
right.
show me, and I'm
Quick
gonna do it.
learner, quick learner.
I'm quick, and that never
Right.
happened again, waking
Mm.
me up out of my sleep. No, I'm
Let's
13
get
years old.
let's get it done now.
I'm gonna one time.
One time. Wow. That's crazy. So what have you ever thought of, well, you shooting a movie. Are you planning on playing a role in your film? And if
I'm
so, what role are you going to play?
I well, first I am working on the music. Because it's a period piece.
Right.
So myself, John Philip Taylor, Strother Davis, we're working on music. Jeremy Taylor, we're just all sitting down working on a music that sounds like music from that era.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the first thing, is finishing up the music.
Okay.
And I intend to play a role. I don't know which role. Um, my daughter looks so much like my grandmother. I
Mhm.
think that she would be an awesome fit, if she will,
Mm.
um, doing the role of my grandmother. My daughter's about 5 feet tall, like my grandmother, a little thick
Okay. Okay.
and
Okay.
gorgeous. So, I mean, I just
Right.
I see this coming to fruition. I even know who I want to play my daddy in the movie.
Mm. Wow. Who you want to play? I want to know.
I know
I'm
you want
no
to know.
I'm nosy as hell. Who you want to
I
play?
want Terrence Howard.
I knew you was gonna say that. I
Terrence Howard.
knew you was gonna say
Terrence.
Terrence.
I looked at Terrence Howard and I looked him up and I said, okay,
I knew
Terrence
it.
is
I
about
knew it.
5'11, about 200 pounds. My dad was 6'2 and 210 pounds. They've
Right.
got the same facial features, same
Mhm.
complexion that
Yes,
my father had
I
before
knew it.
and that same swag and that enter the room and all eyes on Frank.
Yes, yes. I knew you was gonna say Terrence. I was trying to figure out the name of the song that the movie he was in. What's it? If it ain't too hot for a pill,
Yeah, I
get it
remember that
ready,
movie,
ready, ready
but
for
my
the real.
last vision of him is in Empire, and I was
Empire.
like,
Yes, Empire.
"Oh my god." I said he would say some things. I said, "Ooh, that sounds just like daddy." Because my daddy would say stuff like, "I don't follow patterns. I set them." You know. And
Yeah.
that's a monumental statement. Basically, he was saying, "I'm not going to copy what you do. I'm going to do it like I do it and let you follow it."
Mm. I can't wait to see this put together. I want to see where your imaginations takes this to.
And
Um,
my imagination has taken it. I mean, there was so much that I couldn't put in the book.
right.
Okay. But there were things that I talk about in the script that happened, um, good, bad,
Hmm.
indifferent things that I talked about. And I told the truth.
Right. So basically, so is this going to be based on true events?
True events.
True
I mean,
events.
there were
Okay.
things that happened on Florida Avenue that are not in the book.
Hmm.
There are people that are not in the book. Um, it's just a lot going on, and it's drama, and people love drama.
Hey, drama sells.
You know, drama sells. And I tell people, someone said in an interview, they said, "I need some tea," and I say Frank Baker was a ladies' man. They loved Frank.
Frank back then was like Frank Lucas in New York.
Oh man, they
Which
they
is
they
the
loved,
opposite thing.
the phone rang and I'm over there in the corner answering the phone and this and it's Frank. May I speak to Frank? And I'm like, he's not here right now,
Right, right, right,
and
right.
Frank's standing over in the kitchen.
That's great. So I'm sure he's proud of you writing this book. You
I
know,
think that he is. Everything that
yeah.
I do or have done, I wanted my daddy to be proud of me. I never wanted him to be ashamed of anything that I did or anything. I wanted him to always be proud of my accomplishments. And I think that he's looking down from heaven saying, "Sugar, you did a good job."
Amen to that. And that's the same thing I wanted my parents to get to see me now for who I am today, not
Yes.
not for who they not for the street thug that I was back then, because that's I was still in the game, back then when my parents died. Um
Mhm.
and months later was when I got baptized, and it's something came over me, and I just started acting different, speaking different, feeling different towards people. It was like being reborn again.
He
And
touched you. That's
yes,
what we say. He touched me, you
yes,
know.
definitely. So I became someone different, which I love today, because there's certain things that might happen that I might act on it right away, and now I don't. I think about it. Is it what?
Exactly. So I'm like, I didn't even see that.
Right. So you
Could
know,
care less, you know.
yes, and the people that he's put in my life, like you guys,
You know.
So I'm blessed.
I mean, writing this book came out in 2018 and it has done well.
Mm,
But meeting David Wuderman, meeting Crystal Snow, I mean,
mm,
meeting you, meeting Bev Moore, I mean, come on.
yeah. It's an accomplishment, and
It's an
sometimes
accomplishment.
you don't look at it that way, but you sit back and you realize, you better wait a minute. I was just with this. Wait a minute, like
And listen, meeting Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, that was
yeah,
Freddie Boom Boom Washington from Welcome Back, Carter. And
yes,
I was out really sitting at the bar
yeah,
because I was so tired,
right,
because of the time difference between Jacksonville and
yes,
LA. And
hmm
I was sitting there and I spotted him out of the corner, my side I was
hmm
working. And I was drinking a Red Bull because I was trying to get some energy back. And I saw him and his son sitting over there. And like, I don't meet a stranger
right,
because I just don't. And I walked over and I introduced myself and I said, "Is it okay that I take a photo with you?" And he said, "Of course." He says, uh, "Can my son take it?" I said, "He better or I'll beat him." He said, "See, son, that's a black mama there." And we took a couple of pictures together. And then he came in when we were all in, eating dinner. And
yes,
he came over and spoke again. It was awesome.
yeah.
That event was awesome.
It was so many stars were there that
Oh my
I didn't
God. When
even know
Earl
they were there.
Toon,
Yeah, that
I looked over and Earl
oh,
Toon was
tune, yeah,
there. You
yes,
know,
yeah. He's
I was
amazing.
like, oh wow, I'm
Yeah,
taking pictures, pictures, pictures.
right. And those are times that you will always remember.
I
You
will
know,
never forget that.
yeah. And I took my son with me, so that was his
Oh
first time ever
yes,
being
that
there.
that that baby is a handsome something there.
Yeah, he is. So the fact for me that I got to spend that magical moment with him for the first time meant everything to me. And that's what it's all about. Meeting people, enjoying life as much as you can.
And
And
it is, and I have to, like I said, I have had so much support. My dear friends from college, Alan Jones, Alan even came here today and set my backdrop up for me. He
awesome.
is my ride or die. Then I've got another friend that her name is Janice Pride. We call her Country. That's what
Hey,
we called her
country.
in college.
Yeah. Hey,
she said
country.
she said she said, "Oh, Rhonda, when you get your award and you get an Oscar, if you don't mention my name, I'm gonna beat you up." But it's great to have people that you can call. And one of the things I'll do is I'll call and I'll say, "Alan, um did I do that right? Did I say the right thing?" And
Mhm,
he still calls me Baker. He said, "No, Baker, I think you might want to fix that." And then
mhm.
I'll call Country on something else and she says, "Chica, you're wrong." And we need people in our lives that will tell us when we are not right.
Just right.
You know,
That's right.
my previous pastor, she went home to be with the Lord, and I would call her during the day sometimes, and I said, Lena, I said, I need you to pray for me. I said, because if you don't pray, this situation is gonna get out of hand. If Rhonda has to have anything to do with it. And she would actually stop what she was doing. She was an accountant by
Mm,
education, and she would stop. And the same thing with my present bishop,
mhm.
Irvin Jones. I have to have prayer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we don't always do the right thing, and we definitely don't always think the right thing.
Amen. We don't, you know, you're right. Especially to me, my mind be wandering like the wind. Okay,
Hmm.
but I usually make the right choices.
And I
And
do. Sometimes I'm off some, I
yeah,
might say
yeah,
the wrong thing. But one thing I'm not slow about is I will apologize for anything that I've done to
yes,
hurt someone,
yes, definitely.
because I am not out to hurt anybody.
Right.
I'm going to give you help. You know, I told a young lady one day, I said, "Let me help you help yourself."
Mm.
And she said, "Oh my goodness." And she let me help her. I felt good. I feel good helping somebody,
Me
because
too.
it's not about Rhonda. It's about the
So
Father. It's not about me. And I am here in this vessel so I can help.
that's right. And I feel the same way. My job, I kind of figured it out. What he wanted me to do is to help people and unite people, and let people know that God is real and He exists. He wants me to let people know to look for Him, because a lot of people are lost nowadays.
They are.
And I
They
think
are.
this platform was made for me to unite people, to speak to them in a positive way, in open ways, and in certain things in their lives, so that I can help, because I
And,
get the
and
blessings. I get the blessings for that.
hey, I told someone, I say, when praises go up, trust me, blessings come down.
That's right.
You
Amen.
know, and I don't just believe in praying for Rhonda. I pray for
Yeah,
others.
that's right. I pray
You
for
know,
everybody. Those that don't know me,
hmm
I pray for everybody. Worldwide. It's just me, because at the end of the day, we brothers and sisters. No matter what color
no
skin
matter
you are,
what,
what
you know.
shade, what language you speak, we all come from the same Creator. So, uh,
My sister, like I said, we call her Pebbles,
mhm.
and she told one of her professors when she was getting her master's and he was having some issues. She said, "I want you to call my sister because she prays like nobody else I know. She will pray you out of that mess." I
Okay,
was like,
right.
"No, you didn't." But she said, "My sister, when she lays prayers on you,
That's
it's
right.
gonna work out for you." You
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So
Some people pray harder than others.
I just, because I love him so much.
Right,
I know where I have been. I
right.
know where I have been, and where I am now, though by the grace of God.
Amen.
Nothing but God's grace.
Right. So, have you ever thought of, you know, um, so let me ask you this: what type of films would you like to uh, put out there? Like drama,
I like drama.
action?
I like drama. I think
Okay.
I know drama sells. I
Right,
know people. I mean, I love Carl Weber's the Hamptons. I just like that. I mean, I know that's
right.
not real, but I like it. I enjoy watching it. I love everything that Tyler Perry does,
Okay. Yeah.
because I don't think that people really understand that there's a message behind everything that he puts out, you
Right.
know. And when I see his rags to riches story, I mean, that's inspiring as well.
Right.
Here's a man that went from living in his car, and look where he is now, because he did not let anybody police his dreams.
Mm,
Okay, when
right.
people start telling you what you can be or what you can do, no, you can't tell me that.
Mm, wow. You know. I think that this book is going to be a great thing uh, when it comes out, and when you put it into play. I think
Hmm.
it's going to do great because a lot of people are going to be able
To
uh,
relate.
to
People
relate
relate,
and
you
connect with
know,
that. Yes, and definitely me. Like I haven't seen a movie like that in a long, long time.
and it's a period piece. It takes you back
Yes.
to 1959, 1960, when I say life was easy, you know,
Hmm.
people weren't um I didn't have to worry about going to the grocery store at 8 o'clock at night. I just went to the grocery store, or we'd walk to the corner store when we were kids.
Yes.
I'm a little afraid to walk to the store
No.
now, or even go in my car, you know.
Right. And that's
But
sad.
that's a sign of the times. But life is great. For me, life is beautiful. I have a loving daughter. I have friends, and when you can say I've got friends, you're rich.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Country,
So much
I'm
so.
rich.
So
Country, I'm
I'm
rich.
rich. So so what else would you like to what other goals do you have
I
that you want
want
to
to.
accomplish besides the book and
Well, I have
the
a second
film?
book that I'm working on.
Okay.
And people would say it's a relationship book. I would just say it's about relationships and how people handle themselves in relationships.
Right.
Because the way that I look at love, sex, marriage, romance, there are people that don't view it the same way that I do.
Right.
So that's the book that I'm working on now. And I have X number of questions. I interview people. I let them write the answers to their questions. It's anonymous. So that's the book that I'm working on now. And I definitely, because music is my first love, I definitely will be working on additional original music once we finish the music for the movie.
Mm. Well, I'm gonna be all eyes open, waiting for it to come. I'm gonna be calling you, Rhonda. Where we at? Where we at with it?
Hey,
Ready?
I'll be giving you play by play. Hey, we're almost at the end, and guess what? I'll see you at the Oscars next year.
Okay. All right. I'll be there.
That's it. I mean, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling
Thank
blessed. I feel good, and it's been a long time coming.
you. Right. And the blessings are now there, and they're coming, and
And it's
you're
just
taking it
so
all in.
many.
You're
I'm
soaking
taking
it
it
all in.
all in. You know, I am.
Right.
Like I said, I see life so differently than I used to see it.
So, if this film goes good for you, is this something that you're going to be doing for for a period of time of your life? Is
I
filming?
want to continue to do films.
Okay.
I want to continue to do music. I would love to write for other artists because um I'm 64 years old. I'm
Well,
not gonna
you
do
fooled
no.
me. You fooled me. Okay.
But I mean, I like writing ballads and just putting the music together. I feel the music.
Yes.
I'm listening. People ask me, um, what other authors do you like? I loved reading Flannery O'Connor when I was in college. I love This Is My Beloved. I love books with poetry. I
Right.
can get lost in poetry. I
Okay.
still get lost in Duke Ellington's music
Mm,
because I'm listening to every beat of the music,
right.
every modulation, everything, and finding out how he wrote "Take the A Train," "Satin Doll." You know, that's what I love.
Right. I get it. And that's a
And
beautiful
and,
thing.
and
So you
I tell people, I say I work with the best musicians that I've ever known. So talented. Uh, Jarvis Braswell is keyboard player for me. John Flip Taylor is a keyboard player for me. And
Mm.
one of the things is the keyboard player and I have to vibe. Okay.
Yeah.
And we vibe. Jeremy vibes with me.
Right.
Strother vibes with me, you
Right.
know, and that they don't have a problem saying, no, that's wrong, Rhonda. you know,
Oh, that didn't sound right. Just do it and
yeah.
try it this way. Yeah, that's
And one
teamwork.
rehearsal, Flip told me, we call him Flip. His name is John Taylor. We call him Flip. And he just put his hand over his face and he was like, huh. And I was like, what? He said, stop trying to just make it perfect. It's
Mm.
good. It's great. And I'm like, okay, okay, So I mean, I love these guys. We're like
Right.
family. I'm surprised
Yeah.
they haven't walked in the door.
Oh wow.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So,
That's
but
amazing.
but Flip says to me, he says, "This is definitely not a place to get a meal. You haven't cooked anything." so no, I haven't, but you can cook if you'd like.
Right. Yeah.
So
Everything's there.
everything's there, and they know my motto: clean the kitchen up.
Right. When you yeah, I get it. I get it. So, that's amazing what you're doing. You're writing the book 3553. Um when are you planning on starting to shoot it? Do you have an idea on
I
when you're
haven't. I don't have an idea. I don't have a time. But
okay?
like I said, we are looking for investors. But the script
Investors.
is done.
Okay.
The script is done. I just want to get this on the screen so I can tell everybody and show everybody what a wonderful man Frank Price Chico Baker was, and he
Right.
was a great daddy. And I was so blessed to have him as my daddy.
Right.
You
So,
know.
so for some of these investors, they usually want a pitch. If you got a pitch to
Oh,
send
we
to
ready?
them.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
I don't have to get ready because we stay ready.
I love that.
We stay
That's
ready.
so
So
awesome.
yeah,
I'm
me and
all,
that
that's,
team that I got, we stay ready.
I love it. I love
So
that.
I'm good. It's just timing. So people know how to
Right.
contact me.
Yeah.
You know how to contact me. My Facebook is open. DM me. Just
Right.
DM me.
Right.
You know.
Wow, I can't wait to see see the film come together. I know it's going to be an amazing film. Um, Definitely going to see you at the Oscars again. I know
Yeah,
that.
I'll be there next year.
Yeah, I'll be there too.
I'm gonna bring
But,
my baby next year. My
okay.
baby, my daughter, my doll, my heart,
Yeah.
my soul.
Yeah. She's
God
going to
couldn't
love it.
have
She'll
blessed
love
me
that.
with a better child. With a mother like me.
Yeah.
you know.
It's fun. I loved it. We first time with my son, it was, my best friend, my son, like it was so cool
It was.
to be with him, and enjoying that moment.
Yeah.
It's undescribable.
So
And he got his own thing. He did his own thing. He did his own networking, which is something I wanted him to do. He did it.
right.
So he get his own friends, and get into it the way he wants to get into it.
And right, you move at your own beat,
Hmm.
and your own pace.
Right.
Slow and steady wins the race.
That's right. I said, I'm gonna place you in the place. Then it's up to you to do what you need to do.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
this is a business, and I treat it as such. I mean, I remember when you and I met, we just
Yeah.
started talking. You
That's right.
know, I don't
Hmm.
like I said, I don't meet a stranger. One thing I learned from Daddy is he said, Rhonda, everybody is somebody,
That's right.
and I have taken that through my entire life. I tell people, I said I've case managed the homeless. Okay, I have actually gone out in the woods
Mm,
and talked to the homeless. So I can talk to anybody,
right. I'm the same way, and that's a
you
gift
know,
we got.
and I'm not going to talk down to you. I'm just going to talk,
Mhm,
hey, what can I do? What can we do?
mhm.
You know,
Amen to
so
that. So so basically you got a lot of things going on.
I
Uh,
have I have my plate full. I tell
yeah.
people We don't sleep a lot,
Right. Like we
but
don't. I don't sleep a lot either.
because
I can vouch.
I'm
I
always
can vouch for
thinking.
that. Yes,
I'm
I'm
always
over.
thinking. I got up 3 o'clock one morning and start banging on the keyboard because I wanted to change an arrangement.
Mm,
You know,
uh, I get it. I can dig that. I do the same thing sometimes too. Um, but my main goal is to help people, uplift them. If I can take them to the next level by introducing them to someone or helping them some way, then I think my job is done. I
yeah.
think I'm
You,
doing a
you
great
you're
job.
working. We call it a ministry. You're working
Yes,
your ministry.
yes, I am, ma'am. And so, I enjoy it. I love it. Because of it, I've met amazing people like yourself and everyone else we met that night at the
Oh,
Oscars, and more to come. More people to meet, more things
more
to do, and
people. I
more
mean, I'm
projects to
still
get
in
involved.
contact. We're still texting and DMing, and Tom Anderson and Kelly Bishop and Crystal. We're still, and other people are coming into the feed, and oh, I love you. I love your spirit. I like what you do. I mean, this is Rhonda.
Right. Yeah. And you get to help those that deserve to be helped, because I say it in my time, you can't do it for everybody. Uh just those that deserve it, and because it's a rough world we're living in, and
You've got to want it, and you've got
yeah,
to be prepared.
scared.
When it doesn't work, try it again. When it doesn't work, try it again.
Mhm.
Colonel Sanders was 62 years old before he got Kentucky Fried Chicken up off the ground.
Okay.
So I think I'm a little older than him, but I'm ready.
Right. So, how can people find you? What website, if you have a website, where they can find your book? Let them know again where they can
Okay, you
find.
can find my book on Amazon. Always tell people, since the title is so long, just type into your browser Rhonda Baker Stansbery. The book will shoot up, and you can purchase the book. Um, you can do it on Kindle, or for me, I'm a page turner. I like to read and highlight and read again. And that's where you can find me. Like I said, my Facebook page is open. It's Rhonda Stansberry, and DM me.
Okay. That's right. So there you go. Any shout outs you want to shout out anyone?
I'm just like my family, my country. Like I said, I'll get beat up if I don't say her name about 6 more times. And to my college alumni, we're going to be meeting up around the 12th of April for our college alumni. I want to say hello to my drummer, Ryan Sinclair, who was actually my college mate. And that tells you, you think you know somebody, but you don't, because Ryan went to undergrad school with me. I had no idea he was the drummer that he was. He plays in my band also.
Mm,
My band is called uh, the Bolita Princess and the Black Notes.
mm,
And all of the time we knew each other, he didn't know that I sang, and I didn't know that he was a drummer. And I mean, when I tell you he's a drummer, ooh, he's a drummer.
I believe he's the drummer. I
You
believe,
know,
yeah, yeah.
he is awesome. So I'm blessed to work with the gentleman that I work with as a part of my band. I said I'm blessed to have them.
Mm,
You know,
right,
so that's me. I'm happy.
right. You look it, and you deserve to be. So I want to thank you for your time, for coming
No,
on the
thank
show. You're
you.
amazing. You're
Thank
a
you.
beautiful woman, a great woman, in and out. So I just want to say that I'm thankful
No,
for, and honored for
I'm
being your friend.
thankful.
And yeah, we're gonna keep talking,
We're
and
gonna definitely.
we intact.
And we got to get you a part in the movie. We definitely got to
Hey,
get you a part in the movie.
okay, that'll be fine. That'll work. Okay, so
Yeah.
thank you, Rhonda.
Thank you so much. And everybody that's watching, thank
Yes,
you.
yes,
It's
YouTube. Big shout out to YouTube that are watching, awesome as well.
awesome.
So
And
have a good night.
You have a great one as well, and stay blessed.
Likewise. So
All right.
kisses.
Thank
I'll
you.
talk to you later. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yes, folks, that is Rhonda Stansbery, an amazing woman. Check out her book, 35 and 53. It's out now on Amazon. You can check it out. It's called, it's with Bolita Black Paper Bag. Check it out. And tune in for tomorrow. Oh, sorry, next week. I got two amazing women coming on the show. One's a singer, one's a multiple award winner in the filming industry. Just won another award for Best Stunt Woman. She'll be on the show on Saturday. We have Zena on Sunday, a singer, and we have Marlene Lynn Fields coming on the show as well. So tune in next week. Thank you guys for tuning in. Y'all already know the vibes. Peace, love, respect. I'm out this piece. Peace.
Never stop, forget it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pay stub, or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh, fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Same us for the way up, play the game, bruh.
Never stop, forget it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.